Yes, welcome ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ochan Richard, and today I want to take you through a tutorial on how to know more about the primary sources of information. So here I have a document of mine about the primary sources of information. So let the document open. So here, primary sources of information by Ochan Richard, Faculty of Education and Humanities. So let's take a look at the outline to the primary sources of information. So number one, we have the definition. Then you should know the sources of primary source of information, then the characteristics of primary source of information. So the definition. So a primary source is a direct or first-hand piece of evidence created at the time of the event or by someone who directly experienced the event or phenomenon. So here, let me take an example of a road accident has happened. So at that particular instance, the time of action where the thing has occurred, assuming someone was there. So that person has the access to the first-hand information or piece of evidence since the event has happened in his or her present. That's why here they're talking of direct or first-hand piece of evidence created at the time of the event or by someone who directly experienced the event or phenomenon. So let's look at the characteristics. Let's look at the characteristics of the sources. Let's try to look at some of the sources of primary source of information. So with me here, I have another primary source of information. We can get them from documents like maybe encyclopedia. Maybe we're going to try like encyclopedia. Yeah, something encyclopedia. So an encyclopedia is a book which contains a lot of knowledge written, maybe like an encyclopedia about cell division. So now a book like a document is now called an encyclopedia about cell division. It has all the primary source of information about the cell division since it tells you from how cells are formed, how all those transitions happen to bring the species or a living species. So we have also other sources like creative works. Creative works here now comes in like in other people's working where someone comes to have something very creative. We have oral histories and interviews. We have artifacts and then scientific data. Now example of scientific data, when you're doing maybe findings about food test, those colors maybe starting from when you're testing for starch, maybe starting from green, yellow, pink and orange. So those transitions, you're getting the clear fact from basing on the event that you're getting and you're seeing from the thing. So let's try to look at characteristics to primary source of information. One, they are original. Here they're talking about the originality. Primary sources of information, they are considered to be original. Why? Because they are picked from the point or from the view of the phenomenon happening. They are raw data. Why? Because they are got basing on what's happening on the ground. They are unmediated evidence. Here it means that there's no medium whereby someone has to first transfer to someone. There's no media to transfer. Someone just sees it from the spot. Another one is time related. These events happen according to time. When an accident happens at 18 p.m., which is the time now. So you see that event has happened at that time is time related. So basically those are what I can talk about the primary sources of information. Thank you so much for listening, ladies and gentlemen. I still remain Ochan Richard, a student of Gul University, Faculty of Education and Humanities. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also click on that bell. Thank you so much.